are chef outdoors, which says a lot, man. It's not just fishing. It's not just, trying out new items and new techniques. It's literally preparing your catch after you get done a day of fishing and sharing it with the viewers on how you do so on a budget, correct?
Absolutely. I'm all about, first of all, everything outdoors. It's just, part of who I am. I love to hunt and fish and dive and spearfish. And I love cooking anything I get, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then I love camping and hiking and, fixing my own stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely don't put budget as a describer, but that's definitely a philosophy that I believe in.
Right.
Not everybody's got $1 million Freeman or $500,000 yellowfin or whatever. And the outdoors aren't about having the best stuff. It's about having the best time. You
That's
know,
it.
and enjoying it with your friends and your family, and it's a lifestyle. It
Right.
really is. It's nice to have nice things, but it's not something out of everybody's reach. It's a great resource that we have all over the world, and you just gotta be get out there and be a part of it.
I agree. I agree, man. And I think that's, kind of what pulled me in as a youngin, man, was the fact that I didn't have to have the nicest clothes. I didn't have to have the fastest car. As long as I dedicated myself to, at least learning the species or the techniques to target the species that I wanted to fish for. I mean, I could do anything, really. I mean, there's not much that you can't do, when it comes to the outdoors if you put your mind to it, man. And Chris, if I had to ask you, right? If I had to ask you one recipe that you had, say, one day to prepare, and you can only prepare this one recipe on this day, what would that recipe be, man? And what fish would you be preparing for that
Oof,
recipe?
it's a tough question. Because I like. All right, that's a tough question. I like so many different fish and so many different animals prepared so many different ways. I will tell you personally, I'm very basic. I love like blackened anything. Um,
Yeah, me
you
too.
can blacken shrimp or any type of fish, or meat or steak or deer or anything. I love it. All right.
Yeah.
Now, I tell you one recipe that really stands out in my mind from this year that I'd like to make again was a video I made on some mutton snapper, geez, a while ago, probably almost a year ago.
Okay.
And I made this mutton snapper dish where it was kind of it was kind of like Cajun Creole. It was in like a tomato sauce, but I kicked it up with like a kimchi chili base.
Okay.
Uh, it was like a kimchi tomato based tomato sauce where I like pan fried some mutton snapper with peppers and onions. And man, I'll tell you what, that was one of the best mutton snapper dishes I ever had. I mean,
Oh,
it was
I'm sure.
amazing.
And the
It was really
filet,
good.
I'm sure the filet kind of absorbed all of that, like tomato base, right?
Yeah,
Oh my
oh yeah, it
God,
really
man.
took it on. I think we limit ourselves when we're cooking fish, especially. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna fry it. you
Right.
know, and even blacken it. I'm as generic as that too. I love blackened fish.
Yeah.
That's a go-to. Everybody's like, I'm gonna blacken fish, or I'm gonna fry fish, or I'm gonna grill fish. That's it
Mhm.
right there. You just said every one of them.
Yeah.
Blackened, grilled, and fried. 90% of all fish caught is blackened, grilled, or fried.
All right.
Geez, I made what did I think it was like a snook puttanesca the other day.
Oh
And
goodness, dude.
yeah, and I mean it's just tomatoes and like olives and vegetables and I think I made it one of my new sponsors, a Toll vodka. I made it with a Toll vodka. It was a great dish. It just the
Right.
flavor was kicking, it was popping. And you know you can have seafood so many ways besides blackened, grilled, and fried. I mean,
Sure.
even when
Yeah.
you go out
No,
to a
Chris.
restaurant, well, you can have your fish sandwich blackened, grilled, or fried.
I know.
you
I
know,
know. And you know what? I'll tell you, I thank my uncle for this because when we were young, we used to catch weak fish up north in New
yeah,
Jersey, and he would prepare the weak fish for us. He'd fillet it, bone it, and then he'd wrap it in aluminum foil with tomato sauce, with a half a can of corn, with a bunch of lemon slices over it, and then his little seasoning. And I think the reason why, and then throw it on the grill, of course. But I think his reason to do that was we have kids and we're messy and
right,
we eat like animals, so to be able to throw this little aluminum foil taco in front of you and hand you a fork, everything was in it, dude. You got your
perfect.
veggies, oh my God, man. And I still make this to this day, and I tell people about that and they're like, what do you mean you don't You don't fry your snook?" And I'm, "No, there's no way in hell I would fry my snook if I was desperate or fast or
Yeah.
bored. But if there's another way and a go-to way for me, it's got to be the aluminum foil taco, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
shoot,
yeah. We really limit ourselves, you know. I mean, and that I feel that way in my business too, as far as being a chef. You know, we're so stuck into this is how it's done, you know.
right?
And my favorite way to cook is it happens to be on a budget, but what it is seeing what I got lying around. And it's so
Yep.
funny because my wife says to me all the time, she's like, "We don't have any food in the house," and I make dinner, and she's like, "I have no idea where that came from," you know. And it's just because that's my favorite way to cook anything
Yeah.
is just to like see what's there,
Right.
because I mean, I could go downstairs right now and I probably got some like, I think I still have a little Atoll vodka left, and I have some apples and some
Hmm.
onions. And I mean, just think about it. Think you had some fish and you saute it in a little flour, salt, pepper, and butter, and deglaze it with a little vodka, and throw some diced apples and onions in there and reduce it. Tell you
I'm
what, it's
sold.
pretty damn good.
I'm
Yeah.
sold, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And that's what it is. It's like, hey, what do I got?
Right.
I had like that kimchi recipe I was talking about. A snapper. I had that kimchi base because I like to make like faux noodle bowls just for
Sure.
and I love that kimchi chili base. Even though it's not used for faux noodle bowls, it really adds a depth of flavor to my broth for
Yeah.
my like a ramen or a faux noodle bowl. It's just so many flavors that you compound, and it really richens the taste. And when I did it with the mutton, that was great. But
Right.
again, that wasn't I didn't plan any of that. I was
Yeah.
like, what do I got in here? What's kicking around? And it doesn't always have to be the same way. And it really brings out creativity in people, and that's one of the beautiful things about cooking is you really can be creative with it. And
Sure, Chris, and I think you connect with the guy. Just, I mean, hell, like myself, that if I go fishing for 8, 9 hours and I come home with a fillet that's filleted, ready to cook, last thing I want to do is go out to Winn Dixie or go out to
yeah,
Publix or Walmart and grab a bunch of stuff to
you're
to
tired,
make
it's
that
hot.
fish good.
Yeah.
Right? You want to be able to come home, prepare that thing with what you have in the cabinet. So, I mean, kudos to you, man, for being able to do that and actually putting it out there for the masses to see because a
Right.
lot of people don't think it's possible, man. They really
Yeah,
don't.
and and that's probably something I need to focus on more. I mean, because I mean, think about that. Think, whatever you went out fishing for the day, and you got something, whatever it is. Oh, I wanted to make pasta. I don't have any spaghetti.
Right.
Who doesn't have like a pack of ramen lying in the cabinet? It's
Yep.
probably been there for 10 years. I mean,
Right, right.
but it's still ramen, right? I mean, we
Yep.
can definitely make something of it. And I mean, like just random stuff. And I think that's what really is this. That's this who I am. I love making stuff work.
Yeah.
When I do things professionally and I'm paid to do the job. Of course, yeah, you're gonna get a first class meal.
Right.
It's just like mechanics too. I'm a very good mechanic, and when I'm making my videos and working on my own stuff. I don't care. I'm there to make it work. And, geez, I don't have the right tool in my garage. But you give me a hammer and a screwdriver and some duct tape, and by God, I'm going to get myself on the water. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
You're gonna make it work, dude. Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to make it work. And, that's the great process of everything. People strive for this unrealistic perfection.
Right.
And
Sure.
I think, in everything, and
Yeah.
people are very hard on themselves of it. Like, oh, I went fishing all day and I had the best rod and the best bait and the best lure and the best boat, and I didn't catch anything, you know. But my buddy sitting there on the shoreline walking over there is probably killing it, or
Yep.
the guy kicking it in the John boat with the 9.9 kicker is just raking them in.
Sure.
That's the
Sure.
sleeper you got to worry about over there.
Chris, there was the speaking of that, right? This is where I truly humbled myself when it came to fishing. There was a time about 15, 16 years ago. It's striper season in New Jersey, and I know people are catching stripers at this one spot, this one rock pile. And I just, finally purchased that $500 combo, and I got all my line and leader and hooks. And I think, dude, corkers on my feet for the rocks. I am set to the tee. This striper season's gonna be the one, right? Guy pulls up next to me with a Walmart combo, ripping the friggin' plastic off of this, off of the rod grip, and he's got his little homemade tackle box with I think two hooks and two pyramid sinkers. No leader at all, and a couple clams with a clam knife, dude. And he catches a 40-pound sniper, a striper, when I'm sitting there, dude, for
Right.
3 hours before this guy, dude. He shows up,
Yeah.
whips the clam out, and pulls this thing out in front of me. And I'm like, wow, bro. At that point, I truly humbled myself and was like, dude, it's not about any of this that I got on right now. And I started really taking a step back and like thinking and evaluating what I think is important when it comes to
Right.
fishing, you know? And that was an eye opening experience for me, man, for sure.
It's the truth, and it's I feel like there's something to be learned from every experience,
Yeah.
you know, because every time I tell myself absolutely not, that can't happen that way, it happens that way.
Right, right, sure.
I can remember, we talk about like another story like you're saying, I mean, I remember I used to fish spillways all the time, and I still do. If there's a spillway running, I love fishing spillways. I grew up fishing spillways,
Mm.
and I love it. I mean, I really do. It really brings me back to my childhood because I fished so many spillways all the time. And I used to fish with these old timers down there, and I remember I was like, you have to have, back then there wasn't fluorocarbon, but you had to have a clear leader if you wanted to get snook bites.
Right.
Yeah, you can't be throwing, different colors. Got to be like clear. You just can't have that visible um, leader. It'll spook them. I'm not saying you're not going to catch them, but you're just not going to
Sure.
produce many, right? And I can remember fishing with these old timers down there, and I was catching snook just fine, but they were using steel leader for snook intentionally, and
Right,
I'm like, oh man, they're
right.
crazy. Oh my gosh, what in the world are they doing? And I can remember them. It was so funny back then because I was a kid. DOA was pretty hitting the market here locally hard then,
Yeah,
and they used to throw these red and white, the old red and white color everything,
yeah.
mirror lures, air spooks, and they would throw red and white DOA bait busters at the spillway on steel leader. And I'm
Wow,
like,
dude.
man, this guy ain't catching nothing. He's like,
Right,
and man,
right.
I fished with those guys on and off for years, because the same guys show up.
Yeah.
And man, that guy walked out with a slot, wasn't slot back then. He was whatever, anything over like 34 inches, you could get him over 40 back then. And
Right.
he would always leave with a snook every night.
Goodness, dude.
And
Straight
it's so
bluefish
funny.
with.
It took me till probably 10 years ago to really understand the science that he kind of, I don't know if he knew the science or if he just knew it worked,
Right,
you
yeah.
know. And what I learned was I was a fool for thinking something couldn't be. There was an exception to the rule.
Right.
And the thing was, is I figured out later about how snook fed with their lateral lines, as all fish
Mm.
do. And he always caught all his big fish like at sunset or dark.
Right.
And what happens at sunset or dark, especially with a snook, is they don't visually feed as much. They feed
Mhm.
with their lateral lines.
Sure.
So they're using like underwater sonar to feel what's around them. And it took me a long time because later on I started doing a lot of bridge fishing. And I had this buddy of mine who was just an amazing bridge fisherman.
Mm.
And through a lot of trial and error of working with him, when braid came about, he fished with braid and no leader. And
Wow.
I'm you're not going to catch nothing. He's like, what are you talking about? I catch them every night. I'm like, what?
Right.
And I went out there. I'm fishing a bridge, so I got like 50-pound fluorocarbon,
Yep.
and
Sure.
I'm using the exact same plug, fishing it the exact same way. He's like, I got mine. I'm headed home. I'm like, what? What in the world? And what I actually put these two stories together in my mind at this time. And what I realized was the diameter of the braid was smaller than the diameter of the mono.
Mm.
And the vice versa, the diameter of the steel leader was smaller in diameter to the mono.
Right.
And when they're using their sonar feeding at night, they're not visually looking for something weird, but if they feel something different, they're less likely to hit it. So I think it was like, I had more of a smaller radar cross section for my
Right.
sonar, and they were more apt to eat with a smaller line diameter because you're using like 30-pound braid. What is that, like 15-pound line diameter or something like
Right.
that,
Yeah.
or less?
Yeah.
And the same thing with steel eater. It has a much smaller cross section. And the braids were dark and they disappeared in the nighttime, and the steel was dark and it disappeared
Right.
in the water. and they actually would have a higher hookup rate than me using 50-pound fluoro right next to them.
Yeah, makes
But
sense, man. But
but I mean,
at the time, I mean, you're
in
probably,
the
what
moment, I'm
the
like,
hell,
nah, it's crazy,
right, right,
but understanding the like biology and science behind it later, you're like, oh man, I was a fool.
right.
And that's what, it's always a new challenge or a new thing, something to learn, and I'm the one sitting there with the $50 full fluoro, right? Not
Yeah.
catching anything.
No, I get it, dude. Trust me, the Walmart combo, dude. I mean, it was to this day, dude. I want to get a tattoo of a Walmart combo on my back just to humble myself, dude. Like, you look at it in the mirror every time you think you got it figured out, dude. Oh my
You
God,
don't.
Chris.
Yeah, you
No,
ever think you got
yeah.
it figured out? It's a joke. You're a fool.
Yeah. No, I know it, man. And I think that's, again, what we talked about earlier, what kind of sets me in the direction of falling in love with the species of really any species. It's just the science behind it, man. Trying to, figure it out when, you think you got them dialed in and, they prove you wrong every friggin' time, dude.
Oh,
It's really nice to find a pattern and to get on a bite that you can consistently get on, but
correct.
it changes
It does.
that ends eventually. You know what I mean? So,
Right. Yeah, it does.
and that's where we're at today with the inlet. I was out probably 2 nights ago, and we did amazing, man. I mean, it was enough to where I got winded, my arm was sore, and I had enough. And I went back the following night because my buddy talked me into it, and there was nothing going on. The
No,
grass was so thick we couldn't punch through it, and just fish were not there, dude.
it's
So
amazing.
it's in the night, same current, same tide, damn near moon phase. I mean, it's just they weren't feeling it that day, So no,
It is. It's really, truly amazing. And I mean, what fun would it be if you caught everything all the time?
right, true, very true,
You know.
very very true. So, Chris, tell the listeners and the viewers on this side, man, what sponsors, if you can share, what sponsors are new to the team of Chef Outdoors, man? Is there any new guys?
Yeah, I actually just signed up with Daiwa, so I'm working with Daiwa. Just got in with them, and I'm gonna start working with them pretty closely. So I'm super excited about that. Daiwa
Oh yeah,
USA, and they. I think what I really like about them that I've come to find out over the years is, man, they really make everything.
yeah,
Um, and very affordable stuff to very high end stuff.
mm-hmm,
Freshwater stuff to big game. I mean, they really cover the demographic of everything of cost and species that you're
yeah,
targeting. So it's going to be a new exciting adventure for me working with them. Good guys. They're
sure,
really pushing on the saltwater market super hard.
oh
Um,
yeah,
so I'm really excited about that. And I think one of the things that excites me is I really love to see the next generation getting into the outdoors.
yeah,
And I was talking to the guys, from Daiwa, and I'm like, there's so much excitement in the younger generation about Daiwa products,
yeah,
and I think that's amazing. And I haven't, I really am. I don't, I'm happy to see that they're showing interest in things.
sure.
I really want to rejuvenate the sport for the next generation. I feel like we had a gap where people didn't go outside for a while.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and you know what?
And
I
I'm
tell you,
like,
Chris
man, there's more
Daiwa.
than your phone and your TV.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Uh,
and I don't know what Daiwa did to kind of pull that,
I don't
generational.
either. I
You know
don't
what I mean?
either. I
I don't know
actually
what it
talked to them
was.
for a while about it, but I have a lot of younger nephews,
Yeah,
and those guys are all huge Iowa fans.
right, right.
It's like a surgence in the younger generation. So I think I'm excited about that because I want to be a part of that. I really
Yeah,
want to be a part of getting them into the outdoors and making it cool for
right.
younger people. It's not some old guy, So
Well,
I'm really
Daiwa was always Chris Daiwa has always been that brand for me to where, again, like you said, super affordable, but
yeah,
they outlasted all of the guys that were right there with them in their price
yeah,
margin. And that was great for me because I couldn't afford a new rod and reel combo even every year.
right.
So when I bought something of their brand, it lasted me, man. And I love Daiwa, dude. I got them
Yeah,
on
me too.
almost
I'm super
everything.
excited about the relationship, and they got a lot of new product lines in the future because they're really targeting my market, which is saltwater fishing. And
Yeah,
more than that, they've done really well offshore. they're really focusing on the inshore market right now, and that's like right up my alley. I mean, I do all of it, but that's like really my niche of inshore fishing, and they're really pushing hard to come out with some really new products, and all of the manufacturers I deal with, all the supply chain issues are starting to stabilize.
Yeah.
That's been a huge problem is getting product. And they're just starting to stabilize a little bit. So I'm crossing my fingers.
Yes.
I want to hold on to that because I mean, it's awesome if you have the tools you need to go do the job.
Sure.
But
Sure.
another great company I just started working with too is Atoll Vodka.
Okay.
It's a really great local vodka company. They come up with some really nice, smooth vodka. And they're marketing it towards the outdoorsmen. The owners are actually boat captains, so
Wow.
they're a
Wow.
bunch of
Okay.
they're some charter captains, and they're like, man,
Yeah.
we got this great idea. We're gonna start pushing it, and man, what a great product! Super
Wow.
smooth, great flavor. I started cooking and having some just the other day. I think I made one video with them so far.
Hmm.
But yeah, really excited to see where the brand goes. They got a great brand.
Yeah.
It's atoll, like an atoll in the ocean.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and it's funny. Their slogan is "Life takes a toll."
Wow.
So he drink more vodka.
Okay. All right.
So
Some
it's
old salts, dude, on
a
the vodka
little,
game, man. I'm
well,
with it.
and I'm usually not one to push alcohol at all. That's just not me. And it was just such a cool brand. I couldn't help but get behind it. I was like, man, I like these guys. These are my type of people, and they're pushing a great product. I actually have some more on the board coming up here. They haven't been launched yet that I can't speak of, but interesting stuff. I think the marketplace is opening up to a lot of smaller, innovative businessmen.
Sure.
A brand that I'm not officially a part of is like, I don't know if you've seen them. They're called the W Sauce.
Th-
Um, and I met these guys. I was at ICAST. I don't know if you guys know what ICAST is. It's it's like the largest industry fishing expo in the world,
Oh
and
yes.
it happens every year. And I was up at ICAST, and I met one of the partners of W Sauce. And again, it's pretty cool. Hard times create some interesting products. A
Sure.
couple boat captains again. They were out of work because of COVID, and one of them had this great recipe from like his great grandmother, and
For like a barbecue sauce, right?
is they call it I'm not even like they're not. I'm not with them currently.
Yeah.
I just ran into these guys, and we were talking, and there was some other good professionals in the field, and I probably will work on becoming with them because I love it. I think it's such a cool
Yeah.
thing. Again, a couple guys, they didn't have a whole lot going on because of COVID, and one
Hmm.
of them had this old recipe from like their great great grandmother, and they started this. They call it American Worcestershire sauce, so they call it the
Okay.
W sauce, and it's like
Okay.
a grilling, it's like a meat sauce, grilling sauce, something you put on your steak, your burgers, your meatloaf. And I got some samples of it from
Mhm.
ICAST. They didn't even have a booth. I walk around in my chef outfit all the time, and they're like, "Holy crap, you're a chef at ICAST?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "You got to try this," and I'm like,
Perfect,
"Okay."
dude.
And he
Perfect.
drugged me halfway across the ICAST arena. We
Literally
got double
wearing
feet.
your dude, wearing your portfolio as you walk around. I fucking love it, dude.
Oh,
That's
that's just
great.
me.
Yeah, it's great.
I love it. I'm always floating in my chef. Cause people are thinking I'm crazy, and I am. You got to be a little crazy, right? But
Sure.
it's so funny. I was just lobstering. I dive in my chef coat. You know,
Shit.
hunting season's here. I go hunting in my chef coat.
That's awesome, dude.
That was one of the reasons It's so funny because I remember when I started to cook, I'm like, oh man, what do I got to wear to work every day? And I realized like all I have to wear is a chef coat, and I'm like, man, this profession's awesome. I can just wear
Yeah.
this every day. And I've really taken, and it came like a thing. That's kind of where Chef Outdoors came from too. Was
Okay.
I'd get off work and I'd be like, man, I want to go fishing, and I'm like, I don't even want to stop and change. I'm just gonna go fishing.
Right.
And a lot of the people who saw me fish, and they're like, they got to know me because of my chef coat, and they're
Yeah.
like, hey chef, wherever I was at, the boat ramp, the police, FWC, they're all like, oh, it's the chef guy. Hey man, what's up? And I'm like, well, I'm already living this lifestyle. Why not start filming it?
Right. Right. Yeah. No,
So,
that's
it's
awesome,
not
dude.
fake. It's literally what I do all the time. So
I don't know why I didn't ask the famous question or year-old question of how you got the name Chef Outdoors, but that was the perfect
that
intro
was
into how
it.
you got that
Yeah.
name. That's
I
it,
was,
dude. Yeah.
I'm always outdoors, and chefs are very busy people.
Right.
We're industry is really tough, a lot of hours, and I do this in between all that, and a lot of times it started because I just wanted to go fishing, and I didn't want to stop and take a shower and change or anything. I'm just gonna go. Oh, the spillway's running. I'm gonna grab my rod, throw it in my truck, and I'm going to the spillway. Oh, whatever. There's a snook bite. I'm grabbing the boat. I'm not stopping to change. Putting a couple hours on the boat and going out fishing. And it
Sure.
became like everybody knew me from wearing the chef coat. So I was
Well, listen,
like, why
thank
not go
God
with it?
I don't want to be known as the maintenance man outdoors, dude, because I swear to God, I do the same shit, dude. I go out and we get done work and we're like, you know what? Rod's in the car. I'm in my, complete maintenance guy, this, that. And they're like, just a different person on the beach. You almost look like you're a character out of a movie walking down the beach.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
So I'm the
I
lead
get it.
character in my own story over here,
That's awesome, dude.
and
That
I
is
am a
awesome.
character, so it fits just well. I always have like a larger than life personality. I'm very jovial, and I get
Well,
myself into
keep
all
that,
kinds of
man.
trouble all by myself.
Well, don't let that go anywhere, Chris, man. Hang on to that,
No,
buddy,
you got to
because it
own
sets
it.
you apart. Yeah, sure, man.
Exactly. But
But Chris,
no,
listen, buddy, I don't want to stop us early, man, but the podcast platform only lets me a 30-minute window to
okay,
upload, dude, right? And I think with everything that we have before and this, we'll probably be perfectly at that
sure,
point. But dude, you're more than welcome to come on any fucking time, buddy. You get
yeah,
you get,
let me
you
know.
know, any sponsors coming up and down, you got any shows, any tournaments, any time you want to get out and go fishing and collab, dude, make
Yeah,
something put
where
together,
where
buddy. Let's
where are
do
you
it.
living at?
I'm in Sebastian, but right
Okay,
near the inlet. Like you could literally go across from the inlet to the river, and I'm right there.
okay, okay. Yeah, what do we got? A good hour between us,
I
probably.
think probably about hour and 20, something like that, dude. But
You
I mean,
know,
but we can
you gotta let
meet
me
in the
know up
middle.
there. I'll come up there and fish like when the reds are running or the flounders running. Isn't that usually like an October thing up there?
So I like to do that around January. Like I
Oh,
know people would like to target it early, dude, but Chris, again, you want to talk about another species that I would love to fish with you because I have not caught one single one here. It's flounder, bud. Like I
well,
go
they're
out,
everywhere up there. Yeah,
dude. I go out and it's a big thing back north. I mean, my guy, if you can ask me,
yeah. They
is
fish
there
with them
one
different down here.
completely? So again, I even rearranged all my tactics to try and like really target them this year. I got the spot lock, bud. I'm on top of the inlet in different little holes and cutties, and I couldn't pull one out, bud. So I'm
Well,
ready if you are.
well in the inlet, I don't. There's some kind of like a spawning migration or something going on, and that's when they're in the inlet strong. But the rest of the time they're in the backcountry. You
No
know,
way, dude.
yeah, the last time I was just up there when I was camping, I
Hmm.
mean, we got a bunch of them. I was pitching docks for snook in the Sebastian River.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to catch flounder.
That's crazy, dude. That you even called him up there, man. To
Oh
be
well,
honest with you,
you know where that restaurant is, right under the bridge.
the
So
restaurant
you're
right
going in the
underneath the
mouth of
bridge.
the Sebastian River. There's like a little restaurant there.
Yes, I know exactly what we're talking. What the hell is it called, dude?
Uh,
High riggers or outriggers?
Maybe, yeah.
Yep, outriggers
And
bar and grill.
I kind of just stopped the boat there and started working the docks in.
Mm,
And I basically worked all the docks all the way to the railroad bridge.
yeah,
And I would say the first half of that stretch on the north side of the river, I was just pitching DOA shrimp for snook, hoping to catch a redfish or a snook. And
right.
I was catching snapper and flounder.
That's
Um,
crazy, dude.
you know what? If I really wanted to target them on rod and reel up there, what I'd probably do is go get a couple dozen live shrimp
Yeah.
and put them on a jig head. And I
Okay.
would take those shrimp and pitch them under the dock, let them hit bottom, and slowly
Yep.
reel them out.
That's
And
that's it. That's an
that's a
idea, bro.
solid production way of catching flounder like that. They love shrimp on a jig head.
Yeah.
Most everything does. You catch a lot of other stuff too.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I got a buddy, and his name's Jim. He's a chef here in Florida, and he told me the same thing. His freaking go-to bait down here for anything is a
Yeah.
jig head and a live shrimp, dude.
And
That's
that's the
his
truth.
go-to. But
You'll catch. That's a
yeah,
really deadly combo. You'll catch a lot of stuff like that.
no, it's wild, man.
When it starts getting cold, I really start to target triple tail like that too. They start holding on to markers.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
I go run all the channel markers and crab chat buoys, and I pitch a 8 ounce, quarter ounce jig head with a live shrimp on it, and it's deadly bait. And the thing is, it's cool because you got to like diversify your thinking, too, because like I'm pitching for those triple tail, and if I don't see a triple tail, I still pitch on the marker because you don't know there could be one down the marker a little deeper, you don't see it, and
sure.
then I let it go to the bottom, and when I go to the bottom, it's the same time of year the sheepshead are in the river, and I'll start picking up big sheepshead on the bottom while I'm pitching at the triple tail.
Dude,
You know,
you know what I saw in the river last, I want to say it was last spring. I saw what the hell they call them? Bonefish, dude.
oh, we
I
got a
saw
great
free
fish population.
Dude, I thought it was a thing that was like all the way down south, or
Me too.
dude, I'm running the inlet with the troll motor in about a foot of water, and I'm like,
Yeah,
wait a minute, guys, that's a freaking bonefish, and then
yeah.
there's another one, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I had no idea. I would love to catch one of these things in the backwater, dude. I mean,
I
my
catch them
God,
all the time by accident.
you're
I
right,
catch them
right.
all the time. I probably caught 20, 30 bonefish last year.
That's crazy, dude.
Just where I catch them all the time is when I'm pompano fishing.
Right, yeah, small
Because I'm
hooks,
drifting the
little bait.
flats, and they're there, and I catch a lot of them. But there's a huge population. I got one buddy that he's a strictly fly fishing guy. That's all he does,
Yeah,
and he knows where the schools are on the flats now up here, and he'll take people and pitch flies at them and stuff. I mean, they're
that's
not
like
big like they are in the Keys or the
still,
Bahamas. Still, it's pretty
still,
cool.
yeah, it's like a dream of
You know what
mine,
I
dude, to
catch them
catch
on
one
all
of
the
them.
time too is my fish bites. I work with
No
fish
way.
bites,
Yeah,
and man, the damn the stinking bonefish love fish bites. Like I
that's
catch so
wild,
many. I
dude.
got tired of catching bonefish last year. I was
I,
like, I'm done. I'm like so many
I
bonefish.
wish, dude. But no, Chris. I mean, there's tons of little spots around here, buddy. I mean, I got a hell of a GoPro set up, dude, with a little small rig and wireless mics, the whole nine, dude. So,
Nice.
I mean, you want to put something together, buddy? I mean,
I
we can
really
make it
do.
happen.
And don't listen to me. Like I'll tell you this about me is I'm always moving. I'm always
Yeah.
running around. So, if there's a great bite, hey man, they're getting a bunch of flounder, let me know. I'll run up for the day or something.
Okay. All right.
Because I'm so busy.
No, I
I don't,
get it,
I'm
buddy.
I'm not
Trust me.
busy with this so much. I'm busy in life.
Yeah.
I got 3 kids. I got, I'm working. I'm running a big ass place in Palm Beach. Like
Right.
I'm bouncing all the time. I mean, I had 2 days off this week. I worked both days off.
No, I know, dude. I trust me,
you
buddy.
know,
I don't know if you do the same or if you're just in a restaurant, but I work in a retirement community, dude. So
yeah.
I'm the director of maintenance over there. So
Okay.
bro, fucking constant.
Yeah.
Like if you're off, they're calling you about
All
something
right.
breaking down. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Same deal.
I
Same
get it.
deal.
I
Right.
get it, man. But what I'll try and do is like even like it was 2 nights ago when the snook were on fire, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, flounders start popping off. We start catching shorts. We start, seeing signs of them. I'll give you a shot. We'll try and do it on even a weekday. I'll take
Oh,
off.
I
We'll
can
make it
bring you
happen,
down.
dude.
Our snook fishery is amazing. Especially late spring, early summer. There's an
Yeah,
amazing snook fishery, and it's very unique. I'd love to show you that. That's awesome.
I'd be down, bro,
It's just I know our schedules are going to be hard, but I'm
for
not.
sure.
I just want to be real about
And I
it. Yeah,
appreciate that, buddy. No, I really
yeah,
do, dude. Because I hate that shit when you're trying to call somebody and they're like, maybe next time. Maybe next time. You're like, just fucking be honest with me and level with me, buddy.
yeah,
You're busy as shit, and I get it, dude. You
yeah.
know what I mean? But
Crazy.
no, the whole idea of giving each other a shout when something's going on, that
Yeah,
works fucking perfect. Nobody's wasting anybody's time. Something's
yeah,
happening, I'll give you a shout, and we'll try
yeah.
and make
For
it
sure,
happen.
man. Yeah, I love Sebastian. I love the campgrounds up there. I love the inlet.
Yeah.
And
No, I got the boat too, buddy. I got the
oh,
16
that's
foot
awesome.
flats
Yeah.
boat, dude. Yeah, man.
No,
I'm ready to
I think
go.
my biggest concern everywhere. How's the grass doing up there?
It sucks. It's not existent, bro.
Yeah,
Not
that's
existent.
it's crazy. We got a lot of growth this year. We had none. It was gone completely.
Yeah.
We had a lot of growth this year. The most grass I've seen since it all died.
Wow, dude.
Um, I
Yeah, no,
wonder.
we don't.
I wonder how it's going up there. You don't see any. You don't think?
There's none, dude. There's spots where, like, I'm not even joking. It can get wiped out by manatees in a fucking day, dude. Like,
That's the problem.
yep, there's little spots that you can see as a field, but then in a day, you come back the next day, it looks like you poured poison on it, and it was all eaten. It's all brown. It's all done. But
Yeah,
if you go up to Melbourne area where it's kind of landlocked and there's not that much, inlet water running, you get this mixture of like a seagrass, seaweed kind of, bottom. And that is holding fish. That's holding a ton of sea trout, dude, and some reds. But as soon as you go from, I want to say Grant, the old fish house boat ramp, to, I mean, hell, Vero, dude, you're just in a desert. There's no fucking grass. If you
yeah,
find it, it's like gold because there's fish on it, manatees on it, something's on it, eating it or hiding in it because
right.
it's not existent, buddy. I can't find it at all.
How
Everybody will
about
tell you the
farther?
same
Have you
shit.
run farther north, like you were saying, Melbourne, north of that and everything, or what?
I've only been from the city of Melbourne or town of Melbourne boat ramp north about a mile into like the what do they call it? The lagoon there, like
Yeah,
little landlocked lagoon, and it's like again, it's a seaweed. I don't want to call it seagrass, but it is. But it's
Right, it's
got
that mucky weed stuff, yeah.
yes, it's got a mixture of some weed to it, dude. And it even that it's holding fish and it's adding to some kind of a change to the bottom, but it's not the seagrass like the old timers are talking about, dude. I've never seen it like that, man.
Oh, see, I grew up with it. It's
I
hard.
wish.
You know, it's almost better that you didn't see it
Yeah.
because
That
it was so
sucks,
damn
dude.
great.
Right. And then
Yeah.
everybody tells me that, dude. It was like a, fields of it is as long
Acres,
as you can
acres
see,
as far
dude.
as you can
Right.
see. Yeah, and that's really something I really want to focus on. Is I was talking to like the owners of DOA and a lot of the other captains the other day, and everybody directly, it's all about water pollution and quality, but everybody
Right.
directly attributes it to algicide. Like if I had to pick one thing, if we changed now would make the largest impact, it's algicide. And the funny part is the government is spraying it.
Wow, dude.
So South Florida Water Management, they got guys on the water 40 hours a week just spraying it nonstop.
Oh God sakes, dude.
And they're supposed to be the people protecting the ecosystem.
No, I know.
Everybody, that's something I can get everybody to agree on.
And
And the real telltale marker of that is we've always no, there hasn't been as many people in Florida. I'll say we've
yeah.
created a more nutrient rich environment by the amount of like septic systems and stuff like that. That's definitely made an impact. But prior to algicide, we definitely had water quality issues, and they definitely dumped water all the time, for flood
Yeah.
control. And guess what? We had seagrass.
Right. Right.
We
Chris,
had
listen,
seagrass.
you're talking to a guy from New Jersey, dude, right? You know all of the weird kind of like views on how dirty New Jersey is and this and
Yeah,
that.
right.
Right. So I will tell you, I've never been to a place that cares as little as Florida does about their waters, dude. Like it
Yeah,
blows my mind. I came from New Jersey where we have a better handle and a hand on or control on what is going into our water systems, dude,
yeah,
at such a higher level than what I've ever seen in the entire state, dude. Like every plan that I've seen is like decades behind what they're already implicating in freaking New Jersey, dude. Like I don't get that you're
well, let me
surrounded
ask
by
you
this.
this. Not that I disagree with you at all.
Yeah,
Do you think the water quality just hit rock bottom there first, and
I
like they're
think
ahead of us because they realized it? Because I feel like the biggest thing now is everybody takes it for granted.
right,
Because I mean, you come down here and you look and you're like, oh, look at the pretty green blue water, right?
but at the same time, I feel like how long, like would it does it have to take to realize like you're messing this up? I mean, we're talking about the entire house, the entire 10-mile span of houses that had septics that were just leaking all crazy, or
Right.
mains that are just flowing into the water systems. Like that was something that I feel like they picked up on and realized early in the game in New Jersey, to
Sure.
where they made adjustments to try to not allow it to happen. You know what I mean? To where it
Yeah.
wasn't devastating a complete, freaking ecosystem in South Jersey or say North Jersey,
Right. Yeah.
whatever. Here, I just felt like, dude, it was like, and I could be 100% wrong about this. I'm not even a guy to talk about this, but I felt like it was, keep keep pushing it under the rug if nobody's really making a stink about it. Like
Right.
keep you know what I'm saying? Captains were on top of this from the beginning. I'm sure, dude. There was a lot of locals on top of it from the
Absolutely.
beginning,
Yeah.
dude. But at the same time, like you said, it's like we have these people that are in control, dude, that are literally poisoning it right now. So I feel like that's been the problem for
That's a,
years now.
I mean, think about it. The agency responsible for taking care of our resource is the one poisoning it.
Right, dude. I mean,
That's ridiculous.
and for how long have they had that same kind of mindset? For how long have they had the same kind of concept in mind where they're like, oh no, that's okay. The EPA said that's good, or these
Right.
scientists say,
Well, look at all the studies we look at about everything.
I know.
Oh, you're going to die of COVID from this. you know,
You're right. You're right.
I mean, look, oh, the EPA says this is fine for the environment. We'll go with that. I
Right.
mean, they
And
used to
I
tell you
think I just
cigarettes
need
were
to
healthy for
try.
you too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And Chris, really at the end of the day, I think I need the same thing that you need. I need someone to try. I literally need that government that's in charge of this right now to try to see what our locals are telling them, dude. Like, hey, what you're
Yeah.
spraying is killing this. I need them to try to be like, okay, let me take a better look at this and try to readjust. Yeah, at
Right.
the least, that's all I need. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Right. I mean,
I don't see it
I
happening,
think
buddy.
if they stop spraying algicide, herbicides in the water,
Yeah,
I, even if they continue to dump, I think we would see a dramatic turnaround in the quality of our ecosystem.
right.
Because they've really just killed it. They really have. It's very sad. And like I said, when I was a kid, even I mean, I don't remember the day it happened. I'll say, 2015 or something like that. I don't know. 2012. Those were the turning point years. Prior to that, we still had acres of grass. I
Wow.
still there was days where I could go out and catch 100 trout. You
Right,
know,
dude.
and it was interesting. It happened overnight. It wasn't like,
Really?
oh, we can see the ecosystem failing, we better do something about it. It was like, holy crap, where'd all the grass go?
Damn. Damn. I didn't know that. I didn't know it happened that fast.
It was really, I can remember they were dumping, and they had a really bad amount of rain that they were dumping. It was an extreme amount,
Mhm.
and that was the last time. All after that last big haul, they were dumping 3, 4, 5 weeks or something. We came back, the water cleared up, all the grass was dead and gone.
Wow, dude.
Um, Pretty
Makes
amazing.
you think.
It
Makes you
really
think, dude.
does. Well, the thing
You
is too
know?
is, I used to fish the spillway all the time growing up.
Yeah.
Right? They dumped for weeks and weeks at a time.
Right.
We never had. I mean, we had water quality issues. Don't get me wrong. It was
Yeah.
definitely polluting the environment, but it didn't kill it.
Yeah.
Now they
Sure.
killed it. They
Yeah.
they really killed it. And it's interesting. They haven't been dumping this summer. It's been a pretty dry summer until like now. Um, and we have a lot of grass growing back. I mean, is it
And
thick?
I've
No,
noticed that, man.
growing.
The dumping, like, there's a couple really nice spillways around the corner from here, and I've noticed that. Like, I don't know if they're holding it back and allowing it to seep. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not dumping and opening that spillway the way they used to when I first moved here.
Well, there's a lot
You
of
know?
pressure for them not to. Number one.
Okay.
Um, Number two is because of all the pressure, they're creating reservoirs like the Fellsmere
Yep.
reservoirs. Those are
Yeah.
there to clean water. You take the additional water, you run it through the system. The environment cleans the water, all the vegetation and everything, and then you
Yeah.
release it into the environment cleaner than when it came
Yeah.
in. And
And
and that's
they've made some really nice retention pond kind of filter ponds
right.
as you
Yeah,
would call it.
yeah,
Oh man, they're beautiful, dude. And
they are.
you want to talk about a whole nother level of freshwater tarpon, dude? I mean, my God, Chris, I could take you a block away from the house, buddy, and I got another tarpon I can't freaking catch if I was paid to, but they're there, dude, and
Right.
it's jam packed. But I mean, it really is.
But yeah, it's something I'm very passionate about it. I feel like I should cause a little more trouble. You know,
Yeah, same here, same
just
here.
to, it's not gonna change if we don't change it. So
Listen, let me know when you're ready to go to the picket line, dude. Sign some friggin' petitions because I swear to you, buddy, I'm friggin' there. I
yeah,
am
I
there,
did that
man.
at one time. I don't. It's so funny as a young man, I knew it was devastating.
Yeah,
I did go get those signatures,
right.
and I don't think it did anything.
No, I know, and
you know,
I
I,
hate to even put that out as like that it didn't because if there's a younger group or a younger person watching this, dude, and they have the fire to try, please friggin' try, dude,
well, you
because
know what the difference
you
is
know,
now? Social media.
right? Sure, sure,
Before your voice wasn't able to be heard.
right.
Now it is. And
Yeah,
I think, if we had that level of outrage with the availability to reach the masses like we do now, I
yeah,
think it would have made a difference.
I agree.
Because, back then they wouldn't know what they were covering up.
Right,
Now you can put it out there for people to hear and make a decision for themselves.
for sure,
Although the
for
powers that
sure.
be do censor a lot of what's out there, we can, environment hasn't been necessarily one of those issues so far. They're pretty open about the environment. I think it's unbiased on both sides of the political spectrum. It's more like big corporations pay to hide it, but
Yeah.
political ideology not necessarily, you know, smothers that message. I think, everybody wants to live in a clean world, you know.
Sure, sure. But Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, we have Chef Outdoors. Is there anything else you want to plug, buddy, before we head out of here?
No, just thank all my sponsors. I got a bunch of them to tonic. Thank ODOA, South Fork Rod Company, Too Many to Mention, Kalisa Cast Nets. I mean, I got a lot of good support, a lot of great people, Florida Boy Spice Co., and about 10 others that I didn't mention that I'm sorry about. But a lot
Hey,
of great
listen,
support. The fishing community is a tight knit community, and I think it's great that we all support one another, and I hope we continue to.
I do. I do. Where can they find you, big guy?
ChefOutdoors.com is my website. Chef Outdoors on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. All right, and yeah, please like, subscribe, and share, and tell your friends. More viewers, the better. And you just keep pushing and growing every day. So thank you all very much.
That's it, Chris. It's been a pleasure, buddy, and there'll be links in the bio for all that, man. I hope you have a good night, buddy, and it's been a pleasure interviewing you.
You too, sir. Good talking to you.
See you, buddy.
All right, bye bye.